welcome to this week's hashtag toe to toe. Well, we've got a guest this week that needs absolutely no introduction. It is Shannon the Cannon Briggs.
Let's go, champ.
You ready to go, champ? We've got Andy Clarke as well.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this.
Shannon, before we talk about potential comeback, which is coming up very soon, we hope.
Yes.
Where did Let's Go Champ come from?
It started from me basically suffering from a little depression. I went through a period in my life where I was really down. I had walked away from boxing for a few years, and for about 2 or 3 years, I was really down on my luck. I had ballooned up to about 403 pounds. I was really out of shape, and then my daughter was born, and before that, I had very real reason to live. I was really very depressed, and I had been, going through a lot. And when my daughter was born, I figured it was time for me to get my life together, and one day I was taking her on a walk. I was 403 pounds, and I was taking her on a walker in a stroller, and then I sat down, and I was exhausted, from my long walk and just my life and my turmoil. And I looked at my baby girl, Chloe, and I said to myself, you got to get it together, I got to pull it together for her. And when I stood up, I said, let's go, champ. And it was the first time that I had said champ, meaning calling myself a champ. I never really considered myself a champ. I had a rough career. When I beat Foreman, they said it was controversial. When I won the title the second time, they said it was, 1 second left on the clock. So I always was really bad on myself, pretty much like low self-esteem. And then when I said, let's go champ, I was saying let's go champ, not because I was a champion in boxing, but because I hadn't given up. I hadn't committed suicide. I was trying to turn my life around for my little baby girl, and that's why I said let's go champ.
It is amazing because it's just synonymous, isn't it, with Shannon Briggs? You say let's go champ, you know who he is.
Let's go champ.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it though, because the backstory to it is great, because it's like it's a motivational kind of mantra for you, isn't it?
Yes,
because
yes.
you remember the first time you said it,
yes,
and the circumstances in which you said it, and I can picture that scene. I can picture plenty of people up and down the world doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So, come on, I've got to do this. Come on, I can do this.
You got to do it. You got to edge yourself on that mantra,
Yeah, absolutely. But it is 100% synonymous with you now.
Thank you, champ.
There's no mistaking it.
How many times do people say it to you a day?
I like it. I like it. I love it. We all champs. We all champs.
You're 47, Shannon.
1,000 years old.
Not quite.
47,000.
And you're thinking about making a comeback, potentially in the summer.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 100% I'm coming back. I never quit. I've never retired. I spoke to Tyson Fury a few months ago, and he told me, champ, never retire, And he told me that hopefully he'll get me on his undercard in June. I'll fight on the undercard. And he's a great guy because, he's giving me opportunity. We have a lot of what you guys call banter back and forth, but, it's boxing brotherhood around the world. We love each other as fighters, and hopefully I'll get a shot. If not, I'll still come back within the year, and I'll be back. I'll be heavyweight champion, a piece of it soon. Let's go, champ.
Any names of any opponents thrown around yet?
No, not really. I'm going to take my time coming back. I'm going to fight a few pies, and then, I'll take my time, and then I'm going to start chopping into the big boys later.
Well, you know what? You've been really popular. There's been loads of tweets coming in asking questions. Jay wants to know, any chance you will fight in the UK? He'd love to see you against Derek Chisora.
Ooh, I like that fight, too. Chisora in the past has said quite things about me that would make for an interesting fight. So, once a man says something about me or whatever like that, I feel like, that we could get it on. So, my first and foremost, I want to go back in front of the board here and get a license. Once I'm licensed, I can show that I'm, up to par, that I still pack the heaviest punch in the division, one of them, that I'll get a shot here. And I love to fight here in England because this is the birthplace of boxing, of course. My last fight was here. The response that I get from the people was unreal. I've never had this type of love, this type of everywhere I go, people say, what's up, champ? And most people don't even know me from boxing. Some just know me from what I've been through in life, and then I tell people to, keep pushing. So if I could fight here, it'd be a dream come true because I love it here.
Andy, Shannon Briggs, Derek Chisora?
Why not?
Anybody.
He's boxing on April the 20th
Let's go,
at the O2, so you should come.
I'll be there.
Give him a look over and see what you think. And
I'll be right there ringside trying to see what he's working with.
I think you're right to take it softly in the sort of first few months, because it's been a while since you boxed. I was there at your last fight, and that wasn't any kind of test for you either. So you do need to kind of.
That was 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah, you do need to dip your toe back in. But someone like Chisora, that would be.
Yeah.
I think the fans would love that.
Yeah, me too. I want to get a couple fights. Hopefully I fight at York Hall and O2, stay busy, Manchester, Liverpool, wherever I can get a fight. I'll fight anywhere. Anybody out there, promoters, anybody, you want the champ, just hit me up. I'm ready to fight right now. I'm in top shape. I'll take my shirt off right now. Y'all can see. I'm ready to go. Oh, pardon me. I apologize.
Not just now.
I apologize. Let's go, champ. Chill, champ, chill.
Boxing Royalty wants to know who is your pick as the top heavyweight right now?
I think it's a tie between Joshua and Tyson, because Tyson proved in the Wilder fight that, you know, he's a true champion, a linear champion, and I always said to be the man, you got to beat the man to beat the man. So he is the former linear heavyweight champion. Joshua is proven to be the heavyweight champion because of the fact that he's taking on anybody they put in front of him. He hasn't had many fights. He's a machine. You know, he's a lump. You look at him. He's great for boxing. He hit hard. So I think those are the top two. And then you got Wilder, who's right there, because Wilder, believe it or not, Wilder's a beast. You know what I mean? He can one punch, Wilder can end your whole career. So yeah, it's such a great time to be a heavyweight. You got Big Baby Miller. You got some young boys coming up out of here. You got some. This heavyweight division is popping. Y'all got to let me back in right now. Let's go, champ.
We're talking of AJ and Wilder. Ben wants to know, what's your prediction if AJ faces Wilder?
Ooh, that's a good fight. But I like AJ, you know, because his defense is solid. He's a real technician. But again, with Wilder, you can't ever count him out, because all it takes is one. And even though he's wild, his name is Wilder. Even if he half hit you, he could cripple you. You know what I mean? So it's a great time to be a heavyweight. You know, all it takes is one punch, and the division can change. Even with the Joshua and Big Baby Miller fight coming up, you know, that's a great fight, because you got a big man in Miller, strong, a locomotive coming right at you. Then you got Wilder, technician, and he's got to be on the top of his game.
Absolutely. Well, we talk about this all the time, as in terms of the heavyweight landscape changes from week to week, doesn't it? The Fury Wilder fight seems to have gone away. Do you think that leaves the door open now for AJ?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we do need to see these guys get it on, and sooner rather than later. Boxing politics is a tricky thing. It gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes it's not that bad, because it can build a fight, it can cook a fight for a little bit
unless
longer.
Unless
it gets overcooked. But on Miller, he's from the same manner as you.
Yes.
He's somebody you
know
a little bit.
That's my boy.
What is his punch resistance like? Because we know that, you know, he'll rumble forward against Joshua.
Yes.
And for me, it just comes down to, can he take what Joshua will give him? Because if he can, that's going to be a long, hard night for Joshua.
Yeah, and for those at home buying it, or those who show up and buy a ticket, that's what they want. They want to see a fight that's a great fight, a war. And I think that this fight has the makings to be a war, because you got a guy, like I said, in Miller, who's a locomotive. Once he gets started, it's over. And then you got a guy like Joshua, who's so sound. He's so, you know, great technically. He's got a great jab, a great uppercut. He's right hand. He putting it all together good. So it's a great fight, a brawler versus a boxer. And then I think because of the fights, because the energy that's built up the fight, I think he's gotten under Joshua's skin. With the push at the press conference, yeah, definitely. With the push at the press conference, I think that he's coming to the fight with a little bit of bite, to more so than other fights. The man put his hands on him. He disrespected his moms. You know what I'm saying? He said a lot of things that is brewing up for a battle. I can't wait. Let's go, champ.
Neither can we. You've been in with some heavy hitters in your time. Maiko wants to know, having been around in a great heavyweight era and fought the best, who hit you the hardest?
Man, I'd have to say two people, to be honest with you. George Foreman, of course, and then I got to say Francois Botha. Francois Botha hit ridiculously hard. I mean, unreal. People don't know. I mean, some people know, because I talked to Evander Holyfield about this, and I said, who hit you the hardest? He said, man, Franz Botha. I looked at him. I was like, no, me too. So he was one of the hardest hitters too as well. But George Foreman, George was just unreal. Even a jab, a slow punch, what you might think is slow. You might do all this sweet weaving and ducking, but you're coming right back to the middle, and then his jab is right there, and boom, it hits. So it's like you're getting hit with a truck, straight on.
So not Klitschko. I mean, you look at the damage that he did you.
Nah, Klitschko, I had one arm, champ. Come on, champ. I had one arm for 12 rounds. In the first round, I threw a hook, and my arm popped, my bicep. You know what I'm saying? I'll take off my shirt right now and show, but I don't want to scare the people at home. I'm a monster. I'm a monster, but I popped my arm in the first round. So what happened was, once that I fought with 12 rounds in one arm, he ain't hit hard. Look at me. I'm still pretty. I'm still feeling good. I'm still in England. Let's go, champ.
You made a friend, Andy.
Let's go, champ.
Adam wants to know, when was the last time you saw Vladimir? We need a paddleboard sequel. That video is brilliant.
It's one of the all-time greats.
Let's go, champ.
So did he, how did you know he was there?
I was told a few times by a lady friend and that he would be out there, that he's always down there, you know, swimming every Wednesday. And I was like, yeah, you serious? I was like, yeah. So I went out there twice and I didn't see him. So I thought that she was pulling my leg, and then the third time we went out there, we seen him, and I was like, "Oh, I can't believe it! There he is." We're actually gonna leave, and I seen this little dot from far away, and I was like, "That's him! That's him!" They was like, "Nah, champ, we gotta get out of here." And I was like, "No, look!" And it was him. He was getting closer and closer. I said, "Let's go, champ."
How many times have you watched the video?
About 600,000.
I'm probably up there.
How long did you kind of stick around after it was all over? Because what really entertains me about it is the fact that he just had to ride that out, because that was over when you decided it was, because he can't get back on this paddleboard until you decide that you're going to leave.
Yeah, we left him out there. He lived, it's okay. Chill, champ.
Absolutely brilliant. Norman, going back to the 90s, who, in your opinion, would have won between peak Riddick Bowe and peak Lennox Lewis?
Wow, that would have been a great one. Peak and peak. Let me see. They fought in the Olympics. I thought, you know, Lennox won, and I think it would have been a great fight in the pros. Unfortunately, that fight didn't happen, but I think it would have been a great fight. Lennox was just a beast. I mean, not saying that just because I fought him, but he was a very focused fighter as well. I mean, outside the ring, from those who witnessed him, he ran a tight camp. And that's important in this game, you know. It's like a football team, or, you know, their team was right, you know. You go to their stadium, you can tell. Then you go to other stadiums, you can tell these guys ain't on point. Lennox was on point with his training, his camp, and in the times he wasn't, that you can see with Rockman, he lost. Maybe with Oliver McCall, he lost, but he came right back and got on point. I think he would have been well prepared for Riddick. Riddick matured a lot. He got better as a pro. He got his confidence. So it would have been a great fight. Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
What do you reckon, Andy? You agree?
Yeah, I would pick Lewis, because I think he was consistently at a high level, and for the reasons you mentioned, it's preparation and focus and professionalism. But it was a great decade, that I always thought. You know, you got those two. You had yourself, Michael Moorer, George Foreman. Mike Tyson came back. It was a really interesting mix. Yeah, it was a really interesting mix all the way through.
Yeah, Rockman, they had some headers. Everybody, we had the 90s. I think it was probably, and I'm not just saying that because I lived through it, but it was so many heavyweights, because after Mike Tyson in the 80s, everyone wanted to be a heavyweight. Everyone wanted to make money. Every kid in the street was grabbing. It's like boxing today. If you look at Joshua, he's a big influence. A lot of kids today who are coming to boxing because of Anthony Joshua, especially in England. They're like, oh man, I want to box.
It's glamorous.
It's glamorous, right? And that's how it was with Mike Tyson. After Mike Tyson, we all wanted to be boxers. And the 90s was packed. You had David Tua, a killer. You had Ruiz, who, although he was stopped by Tua, he came back to become heavyweight champion and won so many fights. I mean, you had Valuable. You had so many big men who wanted to be heavyweights. It was a great time.
I mean, it's no coincidence either, is it, that you talk about people wanting to be heavyweights, but particularly in New York, because you're from Brownsville, Tyson was from Brownsville,
Riddick
Bowe's from Bed-Stuy.
Yeah. No, he's from Brownsville too.
Brownsville too,
yes.
But, you know, just in that local area.
There's a lot of killers.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. 100%.
Something in the water. In Brownsville, something in the water.
Finally, Gareth wants to know, what's your dream fight? Pick one fighter, past or present, and you've got to pick one venue as well.
Ooh, the O2. No, Wembley Stadium. Where boxing began here in England. Shannon Briggs versus, I'll let you guys figure it out.
No, go on, what would it be?
Shannon Briggs versus, today, in the present or past?
Anyone, I think. Anyone from any era.
Man. Shannon Briggs rematch with Lennox Lewis, Wembley Stadium. Yeah.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm back, champ. I want revenge.
Why not?
What style do you think would compliment Shannon?
Maybe I wouldn't pick Lewis for you, actually. I'm not. I'd probably be keener on Tyson for you, I think.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
The animal?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I know
Why
that doesn't sound all that kind to you, I must admit. But yeah, I think maybe that, a New York battle. If you could get it outside at a ballpark in New York, like the old days, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So If June happens, are you training now? Are you?
Yeah, I'm you know what? I'm going to train here. I went over to the BXR gym the other day, and I met up with the whole team over there, and they were really, friendly, and it's a beautiful gym. But I've been visiting a lot of different gyms. Waltham, I believe, boxing gym. I've been hitting up different gyms. I'm going to start my training camp here. I'm going to, train here for a while, and then hopefully, if I don't fight in June, I'll fight here. Hopefully, I'm going to go in front of the board and beg and get on my knees for a license.
Do you know what? It will be great to have you back.
I hope so.
Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. The heavyweight division, it's been populated by great characters, and we can't have enough of them, quite simply.
Hopefully.
So, yeah, it'd be great to see you back over here.
Thank you, champ, hopefully.
Indeed, right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
We're
going to be talking about this.
Touch it one time. Let's go, champ.
I'm going to be stealing that hat by the end of the day as well.
Can I get a Let's Go champ, though? Can I get a Let's Go champ? Can I get a Let's Go champ for the boys and girls?
Let's Go champ before we go.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Let's go champ. Shannon's going to be on the podcast. Make sure you download that on iTunes. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, guys.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.